I found my stepmom's journal in her nightstand while looking for batteries. The last entry said, Phase 3 complete. House transfer pending. 6 months and I'm gone. My dad married Linda 2 years ago after meeting her at a charity fundraiser downtown. She seemed perfect for him. Nice lady, worked as a paralegal at some firm in the financial district, always made extra lasagna on Sundays because she knew it was my favorite. She had this habit of writing in a leather journal every night before bed. Whenever I asked about it, she'd smile and say it helped her process the day, keep her thoughts organized. I was visiting for the weekend, just a regular Saturday afternoon. The TV remote died mid-game and I needed batteries. I checked the kitchen drawers first, then the hall closet. Nothing. Figured I'd try their nightstand since Dad always kept random supplies in there. The journal was sitting right there in the drawer, open to yesterday's date. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the words jumped out at me before I could look away. Phase 3 complete. House transfer pending. 6 months and I'm gone. My stomach dropped. I sat on the edge of their bed and started reading backwards through the entries. The more I read, the worse it got. Linda had detailed everything like she was documenting a business transaction. How she'd researched my dad's assets before they ever met. How that charity fundraiser wasn't random. She'd specifically targeted the event because she knew he'd be there. How she'd spent months studying his habits, his vulnerabilities, his finances. One entry from last year described her strategy for convincing him to add her name to the house deed. She'd framed it as estate planning, protecting his assets, making sure everything was organized in case something happened. She wrote about practicing her concerned face in the mirror before bringing it up. Another entry detailed the bank accounts. She'd been transferring small amounts, 200 here, 500 there, always to accounts my dad didn't actively monitor. She knew his online banking passwords. She knew which statements he actually opened and which ones he ignored. There were 30 pages of this going back 18 months. Cold, calculated entries about manipulating my dad's emotions, his trust, his finances. She'd even written about me, how she'd won me over with lasagna and movie nights, how my approval had helped seal the deal with Dad. I took photos of everything with my phone, every single page. My hands were shaking so badly I had to retake some of them to make sure they were clear. Showed my dad that night after Linda left for her book club. I just handed him my phone and let him scroll through the photos. I watched the color drain from his face. He didn't say anything for a long time, just kept reading, his jaw getting tighter with each swipe. He called his lawyer at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. I could hear him pacing in his office, his voice getting louder as he explained the situation. The lawyer told him to document everything. Don't confront her yet, let him handle it properly. The next few days were surreal. Dad acted completely normal around Linda while his attorney worked behind the scenes. She had no idea we knew. She still made lasagna that Sunday. I couldn't eat it. Turns out Linda wasn't even a paralegal. Dad's lawyer did a background check. She'd worked at a law firm for 3 weeks before getting fired for accessing confidential client files without authorization. The Bar Association had no record of her credentials. The entire paralegal story was fabricated. Dad filed for an emergency restraining order Monday morning. His lawyer moved fast. Police met Linda at her supposed work address with the order and preliminary fraud charges. She wasn't at any law firm. She was working part-time at a coffee shop and had been lying about her job the entire time. Her lawyer tried negotiating later that week, offered to have Linda return everything she'd taken in exchange for dropped charges, make it all go away quietly. My dad's attorney had a different plan. The hearing was scheduled for the following month. Linda showed up looking calm, playing the victim, claiming she'd done nothing wrong and this was all a misunderstanding. Then my dad's attorney stood up and played the recording. The one from our doorstep the night before the hearing, when Linda had shown up screaming after the restraining order prohibited her from the house. Her voice was crystal clear on the tape, yelling that she'd earned that money for putting up with our pathetic family for 2 years, that my dad was a boring old man who deserved to be taken advantage of. The judge gave her 4 years and ordered full restitution.